My name's Ian Aber, and this is Straight People. Joined today with our guest, the lovely Mr. Jake Cook. How you doing?
Hello, thank you for having me. Doing good.
I like you went real deep because I called you lovely. You're like, hello.
Yeah, it's my radio voice.
Yeah. So, Jake, you and I know each other through stand-up, of course. It seems like everyone I know. Yeah. But you produced a show at Mammal Gallery for quite a while, right?
Yeah.
But you're primarily a musician, correct?
Right. Yeah. I always was. Yeah.
And how do you describe your music and what do you play? What's your
my main project now, and for a while it's been this project called Seal Pup, which is like indie rock stuff. I guess it's really definitely deeply punk influenced. There's a lot of fast songs and a lot of heavy stuff and a lot of like energy.
Nice.
But it's just pop music. I've written pop music my whole like musical career.
You did a theme for me for my show Surrogate, so it was
yeah.
It was great because like you completely misunderstood what the show was, so I had to have you. I was like, "Can you just? Everything's great. Just change the lyrics to reverse what."
Right. Like I said, comedians comedians tell the jokes. You pull the strings.
Yeah, but I think it was the other way around. I think it was that you had it like where the audience was the ones telling the jokes or something in the song.
For some reason, I thought it was like people that like were too afraid to go on stage. Yeah, like comedians get an earpiece, and then they tell them their jokes that they want to try. But then I thought about it later, like that'd be a horrible show.
I know, where would I find those people? Right?
People like that
never want to leave their house.
And also, if you don't want to go on stage, it's like fuck you, do it anyway.
Exactly.
Not gonna get
they can just stick to the comment section of the internet where they belong. So Jake, so this is a show called Straight People. So we always talk about how do you identify?
Straight,
for sure. Does everyone else agree with that, or is it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah.
I think probably most people's. I think I have a straight vibe.
You got a straight vibe?
Not to say that there's a gay vibe and a straight vibe, but there is. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, for sure. There's at least some of that.
Yeah.
So you're a classic straight.
Classic straight.
Classic straight. Like a...
Cisgendered, yeah.
The whole deal.
All that, yeah.
Yeah. That must be rough.
Good old, yeah, it's horrible.
It certainly hasn't gotten any better.
It really gets tired. It really gets exhausting oppressing people all the time.
Impressing?
Oppressing people.
Oh, oppressing.
As a straight male.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I do.
Where's the place that you get to exercise your straight white male cis privilege the most in your life?
Ooh, good question.
Isn't it?
You know, I think
I just came up with that.
I think honestly.
Oh shit! I need to set the timer too.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Because otherwise, I don't want the episode to be longer than 30 minutes.
Cool.
Because if a straight person gets more than 30 minutes, then people are going to complain.
Right. Yeah, I know who that is. I would complain too. But I think like I'm a server at a restaurant, and I think like people definitely respect you a lot more when you're a server and you're a male.
Really?
Than when you're a woman. Absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
I see it all the time. Like they just any little thing that a female server does is like interpreted as rude or something. If they're not like super bubbly, then they think that you're a bitch or something.
Wow. Okay.
Whereas like if I'm more stern, I think people will respect me more.
Really?
And they'll tip me more based on that.
So have you ever tried being bubbly and see what happens, or?
I can't. I mean, like, I've struck a.
Is that one of your gears?
It's bubbly? Not really, but I've struck a balance to where like I don't hate people. I don't think I'm aloof or anything when I serve people.
Yeah.
I like people. I'm not like. There's a way of being professional where you're still being yourself. Like a server has to have a reasonable degree of politeness and like. And stuff
you have to
that.
like serving people.
Yeah, or not.
I tried to do it for quite a while over the years, and I was never good at it. I was much better to work at like a coffee shop where you could be a little rude and they liked it. You know what I mean?
I think I eased into that whole thing because like I used to work night shift at a Majestic Diner, and like overnight there it's just crazy as hell. It's like just nothing but screaming drunk people all night long. So you can kind of be yourself. You can kind of like you don't have to put on any airs or anything like that because everybody's wasted.
Funny.
So
the Majestic, that's the one on Ponce, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
There used to be one on, I forget what it was called, but there was one on Cheshire Bridge for a long time. It was Landmark for a minute, but before that it was like called like Dunkin' Dine or something.
Yeah.
And there was this old woman who worked there, and I remember like she either liked you or she didn't, and it wasn't like per table. It was like you could have 3 people at the table and she liked one of you, and the other 2 she wasn't having any, like nothing you said or did she liked in any way. And I remember my friend, I ordered a patty melt and whatever, and then he was like, oh, what are the vegetables? Can I get can I get this? Like, can I get the field peas? And she's like, no. And he's like, can I get the mac and cheese? No. Just everything he asked for, she was just like, no.
I hate going to a restaurant and feeling like some servers make you feel like you're an asshole for being there,
Well, you can tell when somebody doesn't want to be there. Like,
but you shouldn't.
Usually don't take that personally.
I don't take it personally.
Most of the time, I don't want to be places. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like when a waiter, I find it refreshing. I'm like, oh, well, we're both on the same page then, aren't we?
Right.
Neither one of us wants to be at this Cheesecake Factory right now.
But it's like. I get that people don't want to be there. Nobody wants to be anywhere. I don't want to have a job. I don't want to do anything. But I feel like I've had to just develop that skill, which has been I think it's a good thing to develop that kind of or it was a good thing for me personally to develop that kind of social skills to where now I'm a lot more confident with talking to people, and like I can kind of, you learn to code switch and talk to different people different ways and like just feel people out more, I guess. Because it's all like psychology. It's really it's kind of interesting because like I know that like.
But you think the women are treated worse?
Oh yeah, they have
to be nice.
They have to not only be nice. Sometimes like they have to make the customer believe that they will fuck them or like or that's a possibility. And if that doesn't happen, just some like it depending on, it's a lot of women just have this or just. I've noticed with women, like, it is this thing where, like, there's, like, this very innocuous kind of flirtation that occurs, like, when you're a server, and if it doesn't happen, like, people think that you're cold or something. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier.
I've definitely noticed, like, when a waitress thinks that Payne and I are 2 just straight guys, like, having wings together, you know what I mean? And then when we're like, we'll split the pancakes, and she's like, oh, okay.
Right.
And so she doesn't have to do that. Then she's just she's ex-regular.
Yeah.
But then when she originally comes to the table, it's like, how you doing, darling, and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And then when she realizes she doesn't have to do it, it's like, she just acts like a regular. I've definitely experienced that.
Yeah, because that's just something that female servers learn about how to, because people just will not tip you for no reason, and people respect you less.
Monsters.
If anything goes wrong, they immediately.
You're a monster. I don't even.
Oh yeah.
Do you have friends? Like, I don't have very many, but like every once in a while you'll meet somebody who's never worked in a restaurant or anything, and then you go to lunch with them or whatever, and you didn't know that about them. You didn't know that they were just that one person who just happened to never have to, and they're like the worst to the way you. And
I'm super sensitive about that, just because of what I do. Yeah. But like, I guess I don't really.
That's like my version of like a horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, because it's like you don't know that about somebody right away.
Right.
That's something you find out about somebody. And I remember recently, it's not too recent. It was like in the last year I had that happen with someone where I barely knew them, but we were both in the situation where we were in town at the same time somewhere, and we went and had lunch, and it was like very much of a. I was like please and thank you to everything, and he was very much of like this isn't right and that's not right, and why can't I order this thing that's not on the menu even though the basic ingredients aren't even listed in the other items on the menu.
Just people got to order off the menu.
I don't know. That drives me crazy. Yeah. Anytime anybody starts to order off, is like, well, I see you have these 3 things.
That's not.
Could you make me this instead? It's like
that's the difference.
Hogwarts.
It's the difference between.
We're not making potions.
That's why a restaurant is different from a grocery store. Because at a grocery store, you can buy the items you want, and then you go cook it yourself.
Right.
And then you don't have to tip anybody because
Could you imagine a restaurant where it's like they just list ingredients, and then you have to tell them what you want?
Yeah.
It would take forever. It'd be like, can I just get a sandwich? You got. We have all these ingredients. Tell me how you want them prepared.
Restaurants like they work a lot of times to simplify the menu so it's easier to just turn tables over and make the most profit. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if you're doing nothing but crazy shit all the time, or and if you go to like a nice restaurant, like like a Rathbun's or something like that, they don't take kindly to any kind of substitutions and shit like that because it's like the chefs like. It's something that the chefs have thought about, like all the stuff that goes in the ingredients of their dishes and stuff like that. So if you change something, it's like if you change something and then it sucks and then you blame them, it's like they want to be able to control like the product,
Yeah. So what's the biggest tip you've ever gotten at the Majestic?
A guy gave me $100 one time. This table gave me $100.
Oh, nice. Was it on a small check or was it on a big table?
Yeah, it was just. It was like I think it was like 2 or 3 people, and another server told me when they came in that last time they came in, they gave him a $100 tip. He's like, so be nice to these people because I think they just do that sometimes.
Okay, nice.
And that's what happened. They gave me a $100 tip.
Just going to point out that Jake did not have his phone on a silent mode, even though we're recording a podcast. And then he threw it on the ground, but he leaned away from the microphone while he was talking.
Yeah.
So that's minus. You're doing it again. Minus 10 points from your overall score. You're still not talking.
Just looking at my phone on the ground.
You can pick your phone back up. You don't have. You can just set it to something quiet. Yeah.
I'll just set it to silent real quick.
Okay, please do.
Yeah.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, everything's good.
Okay. What is your go-to? What do you order when you're going to? Yeah, what's your like a diner? We're like a diner. Let's give me your breakfast. If you were going to eat at the Majestic,
that's very similar to a question that I receive all the time, which is
what's good.
Yes, yeah. Which like kind of
Payne will only ask
crazy.
What's popular. He'll go, what's popular. He won't go, what do you like? Because we've been at too many steakhouses where he's like, well, what do you like? And then the waitress is like, well, I'm a vegan, so I don't eat anything.
Right, stuff like that. Or just, you got to take
so what's popular? What's the most popular? What do you eat there? Do you even eat there?
I eat there all the time. That's why like the stuff that I make myself or the stuff that I order is not even necessarily. I can do that stuff.
You're using it like a grocery store. Okay.
I can do that if I want because I'm making the food.
What is the single most popular item at the Majestic?
Probably the burgers in general.
That's what I got you in here for. Not to talk about sexuality at all. Just burgers. Just the burgers.
I'm here as a representative from the Majestic.
Okay, good.
Yeah, the burgers are popular. I mean, I'm going to give you the stock answer, what I tell people. The burgers are popular. I say like, oh, yeah, we're like a classic diner, so stuff like burgers, omelets are popular. All the breakfast items are popular. If you look on the back here, we got blue plates that comes with 2 sides and a piece of Texas toast. Everything that I say at the Majestic, I've already said 10 million times.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I have it's like I can do it like asleep basically.
Wow.
And I take people's orders in my dreams.
Did you?
I had a dream last night about serving. It never ends. But it's just like in my head, you know.
Nice.
So I have a stock answer like that for everything, but I would say the burgers are actually really good.
I eat there all the time and I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's good. It's not. I feel like it gets a bad rap for some reason.
Yeah. I think it might be a little pricey, but I understand why it is because it's staying open in this environment. And it's kind of changed a lot over the years. So I've lived here for 30 years.
Yeah.
And it used to be one of those places that had they made everything, plus it had a bunch of Greek food for some reason. You know what I mean? Their menu used to just be kind of obnoxious and they had everything.
It's a big menu,
but they've pared it down to the classic, what you expect.
Yeah, they try.
From a diner.
They try to. I mean, it's places run really well and we do great business.
And I will say that I've been going over there over the years and never once have it ever, I can't say that about all the restaurants in Atlanta, never once had a problem being at a big table of gay people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's one of those places where that's never ever been an issue.
It's funny. I saw a video from the mid '90s of RuPaul and his crew coming into Majestic.
Yeah.
And everybody turned their heads. It looked totally different. It was before they renovated and stuff, but it was a different time for sure.
Back then, that place looks crazy back then. No, but they would come in and everyone would go, what the fuck? But then they go right back to their eggs and bacon and whatever else, you know?
Right, yeah.
And that's sort of how it was back then. That's not, you can't say that about all the places. There were places, I've been to that Landmark Diner where the Punchline is now, and with a group of gay guys, and one of the waiters made some comment, and we were all like, "What did you say?" Yeah, exactly. And then we all freaked out, and it was pretty funny. But it was also 25 years ago. Times are a little different.
And Majestic's basically in Midtown. It's like the edge of Midtown. So
absolutely. Well, it's in between Midtown and Little 5 Points, so it's you're getting, and then on Ponce itself, so you're getting everything. You're getting a mix of everything.
Yeah.
So in classic straight people fashion of this podcast, I have completely gone off topic, and we have not talked about sexuality at all. You do identify as straight, so what I always ask my straight guests is that you're born straight, and then your parents are straight, and it's just straight. And then one day you realize that that's not the only thing there is out there. So sometimes it's a movie, sometimes it's a person you know, or there's maybe not even a person you know, just a person that's pointed out to you, or it's a slur that you heard on the playground. What's your access to gayness? Who was the first gay person you knew? When did you become aware of what gay is in the world?
I remember my dad telling me when I was a kid. He was really close friends with this gay guy that I never met, who died of AIDS. But my dad told me about how he had AIDS, and I guess he didn't know at the time. They didn't really know how it was transmitted or something. He would like invite this guy to dinner at our house and stuff when I was a kid, and he wouldn't come over because he was like, I don't want to give your kids AIDS or something.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's the story I heard, which is like mind blowing. But I remember my dad telling me about that guy at a young age. He was like a real close friend of his. I remember my dad telling me that the Indigo Girls were gay, and I thought it was hilarious because for some reason, like, it was such a foreign. It really was like a foreign concept to me as a kid, and just like it made me kind of like, not like uncomfortable, but it was like it was funny to me for some reason. The thought of two women or two dudes kissing each other was like so foreign and like out of the things I'd witnessed or experienced that it was, and that's where like there's definitely in elementary school there's a lot of kids calling other kids gay and stuff as an insult.
Oh, absolutely. That's where it really starts, I think.
Yeah, which sucks to think about, and it sucks to realize that I may have participated in that even as a kid, just to try to fit in, calling people gay as an insult. And I can't only imagine how much it sucks when you actually are gay and like just feeling like.
Surprisingly, I've noticed that like in stand-up, the people that have the biggest issue with it, the ones who like make the biggest point of being telling everyone that they were called gay as a kid are the ones that grew up to be straight.
Yeah.
It's like you didn't even get the benefit of like all the delicious dicks. You had to grow up and be straight. No.
You had to be called gay. You had to be called gay without the benefit.
You don't get any of the prize. You just got the punishment.
I think kids called me gay, or kids would call me. I remember the word gayfer, which has gone very out of. I mean, I don't know if little kids still say it, but it's such a silly.
Yeah, gayfer. I've heard a couple of people say that. And that's never been. It was always queer.
I never.
And fag. There was a lot of fag being thrown around when I was a kid. You're a fag. She's a fag. There, and like we didn't even have dyke. We didn't know that word.
Yeah.
So like even a girl was a fag. And fag was just a bad, weak thing. You didn't even really truly associate it with queer people, even though that's the connotation. And so it doesn't, it's like once you realize, oh, that's why, everybody hates gay people because we teach children that that's the weakest, most awful thing you could possibly be.
Right. Or just teach them that they're like completely different people, or like I remember like Will and Grace and stuff, and that being a big cultural thing, in my lifetime.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Lilburn, which is like Gwinnett County. It's like 30 minutes from here.
Yeah, so kind of outside the city.
Yeah.
So there were gay people just within a driving distance. I'm sure there are gay people in Lilburn.
Yeah.
Every town has to have
the neighborhood queer.
So, but then you moved into the city, and then you probably saw lots of gay people everywhere. That's kind of like how that works, right?
Yeah, but I think I didn't like. I think the key to not being prejudiced or not being racist or anything like that is just being around people that are like that, people that are like being exposed to it. Like I lived in Dahlonega for a couple of years, and there's not really any gay people and there's not really any black people. And I mean there are, but it's definitely predominantly white and straight and whatever.
Yeah.
So
whatever, indeed.
Yeah. In between stuff, yeah. But I got a job at Pizza Hut. I was 18 years old as a delivery driver, and my first day I met everybody that worked there, and there was this guy that worked there that was like pretty flamboyant and stuff.
Yeah.
And was a nice guy and stuff, and I went on I was like shadowing one of the other delivery drivers. And so I went with her, like just hopped in her car while she went on deliveries and like trained me basically. And I was just kind of making small talk. And I was like, so how do you like working at Pizza Hut? And she was like, yeah, it's all right. I don't like faggots though. It's like, whoa.
Wow.
She's just referring to this one guy.
Oh, the one guy that.
Yeah, wow, yeah.
Okay.
Like she wanted to acknowledge it, and I guess she expected me to kind of be like, yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. That's what they do, though. That's
like, why do you?
That's what I think. That's what it's weird because like that's what I've always experienced with racism in the South, especially growing up. So like when I was perceived as straight, there'd be these times where it'd be only like white guys or whatever. It was never women. Well, I mean, it's interesting that your story is a woman. My story was like guys, and the minute there were guys around, there was always this joke about. they would refer to black people as Canadians, like as if that's some secret code that no one will ever figure out or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And so there was a lot of that, and I'd always be like, why am I being included? Like, what? What have I done today to make them think that I'm just waiting around to have this secret racist conversation with them? Do you know what I mean? And like, and then if you said anything about it, and that's what I thought was the funniest, is that the only times that I've ever spoken up about that kind of thing in like those kind of work environments, then immediately I was called gay. So it was like, hey, don't talk about black people like that. What are you, a fag? That's not even how that works. That's not even equivocal of any.
What are you, a Canadian?
What are you, gay for Canadian? You gay for black people? Or I don't even know. I just remember I worked at like a Blockbuster. I worked at a Turtles. Do you remember Turtles? You're too young.
Yeah.
So Blockbuster Music. All those Blockbuster Musics used to be Turtles.
Weird.
And I worked at one. I think it had switched from one brand to the other. But I worked at the one in Peachtree Road in Buckhead. Yeah. And like half the people that worked there were black, and there was this like whole little subgroup of straight white guys that worked there that all resented the fuck out of it. And like anytime it was just white people in the break room, they'd start talking like that. And I was like, I think I even worked there. I couldn't have worked there more than like 2 or 3 weeks, where I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And like, what have I done to make you think that? And then they were like, yo, you're a fag.
Right.
And then like I would tell the black people, and they were like, oh yeah, we all know.
Right.
Like, there's nothing to be done about it. You know, it was like back then it was like, they were just like, yeah, fuck them. And that's just how it was. It was like just this like, everybody hated each other.
I feel like,
and I was the fag of the. It was. I think I worked there maybe a month. I couldn't have lasted longer than a month. It was very toxic environment.
In Snellville and Lilburn, where I'm from, like I feel like it's like that, where like for a long time it was mostly white, and there's kind of like black people started moving more and more, and I feel like maybe 10 years ago or something like that, I lived there, and I worked at Waffle House, and I feel like there's like a palpable racial tension. It's just weird. It's still like when I visit there, it's like this weird unspoken thing where I feel like the white people that lived there for a long time are kind of upset.
Like Morrissey about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's Morrissey's whole thing. Yeah, Morrissey's whole thing is
subhuman.
Like, these neighborhoods don't look the way that they used to when I was a kid. Blah, blah,
right.
Blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's like
that kind of thing.
Yeah, the times have changed. And
England for the English.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the Trump supporters. I think the Trump supporters are like, they want to go back. The good old days aren't the good old days. The good old days are the good old white days.
Yeah, and that's what they mean. It's a code.
Exactly. And they're. I don't know where, like, I guess I haven't been alive long enough, because like those days never existed as far as I was concerned. Like everywhere I've ever lived, it's always been incredibly mixed.
Yeah.
And usually there's not a problem. Like I feel like that the racism today tends to be a little bit more along the lines of like, I'm going to keep it super, super secret except for the internet. And that what we would see in the past was, it was like, at least you knew who the racists were. Like when you were at work, you knew who they were, because they were the ones who would act out like fucking, like all the Canadian stuff. When I worked at that, they did that when I worked at Chick-fil-A too, which I always thought was really weird.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A was like an oddly racist company, considering all their values are so like, we love everybody except the gays, It's like,
That makes sense to me somehow. But yeah, it's like with the Canadian thing, I remember hearing that like in the service industry as a code for black people. I remember hearing that like a long time ago. But what was I going to say?
I wonder where that comes from. Is it just like servers being lazy and racist, I guess?
I guess, yeah. I never.
That was there before I ever. It's like that's a thing that existed probably when I was your. You know what I mean? When I was in. So how old are you?
I'm 29.
29. So I'm 46. Yeah. So like there's a whole 17 years of where I was probably experiencing the same thing like a decade before you ever did.
Yeah.
And, that's such a strange thing.
But what I was gonna say is like I would hope if I had a child, I would hope to raise them in a place that was really diverse, somewhere like Atlanta.
Yeah,
where they get exposed to a lot of different people, and
it really matters. Like, what I've noticed about this podcast specifically is that the straight people I have on, the ones who have have never had any issues with gay people, or people that grew up in neighborhoods adjacent to gay people. So like Derek Sheen grew up in like, kind of like downtown Seattle near the gay neighborhood. So he always saw gay people and they were just around and in his life. And Norlex Belma grew up in music and he had the exact same experience where it's like there was never a time where there wasn't a gay person. So there was nothing, like even if it wasn't the lifestyle that him or his family lived, it still wasn't this foreign, undefinable thing. It wasn't, like it couldn't be scapegoated in any way because it existed. And, it's like you can demonize like someone you don't know very easily, but it's really hard to demonize somebody that that like, they pay their bills and they go to church.
Exactly. You relate to them more. They're just like you.
Yeah. It's harder to convince people of that.
Right. When they're around, like in Dahlonega, there's not, like I said, there's not a lot of gay people or not a lot of out gay people and not a lot of black people. I'm sure there are way more now, though. I mean, like, just a lot. Every time I go to one of the, like, any small towns, I always do, like, a blast on, like, Growler, I think it's called. And it's like hey, I'm a bear, you're a bear, come watch this comedy show. Or whatever. Yeah.
And not always people come, but the amount of people that respond, sometimes I'm like, well, shit, if all these people showed up, but it's like, sometimes it's way more than you expect. It's like, those small towns, they're there. They're definitely there.
I'd like to hope that, like, just the whole culture is different, but I know there's definitely pockets all over the country that are real racist and prejudiced and shit like that.
Yeah.
But I know that it was definitely more. It was definitely way more of a thing when I was growing up in the '90s than it is now. Like, if there was a gay character on TV, like, that was their whole thing, was that they were gay.
Yeah.
It's not now. It's like if there's a gay character, it's like a total. It's nothing that doesn't matter about that character necessarily, unless they make it.
I think that's true. I think there needs to be somewhere in the middle because sometimes it does matter that we're gay,
Yeah.
Like
well,
sometimes
I'm not trying to say
no, absolutely. I'm just kind of making my own comment there where it's like you're right about that, but it's like sometimes I feel like they've overcorrected. It's like I'm a lesbian and it doesn't matter at all. And it's like, but sometimes it might. Sometimes it might be the most important thing about you because of who you're dealing with.
Right.
And I think that's what I think we're seeing more of, where it's like sometimes the stories are about our identity and sometimes they're not. Yeah. Like you can go back and forth. You don't have to be one way or the other. You don't have to always. We don't have to live our lives, like kind of being persecuted or constantly fighting for our rights. We actually have days where we just go eat dinner and work our jobs. Whatever.
I would have never guessed.
Yeah, right. So we're getting close to the end here. Okay. Tell me a little bit about Seal Pup. The music you're working on.
Yeah.
How can people find you? What is it about? What's next for you in terms of what you're developing musically?
It's Seal Pup is just it's just pop music. It's short songs. It's real like I've been writing songs for a long time. I'm making music by myself since I was like 13 or 14 or something. Okay. And recording it by myself. And it's just
Why by yourself?
Just because just something I got into doing. And it was like at a young age. I got like a 4-track tape recorder when I was like 14 or 15 or something like that. It was just something I wanted to do. I wanted to make music, and I didn't have a band, and I knew how to play drums, kind of taught myself how to play guitar. And if you know how to play guitar, you pretty much know how to play bass. And then keys probably came after that. But I just wanted to make music, and I wanted it to be like full, like have all the instruments and stuff like that. So I just learned how to record myself, and I've definitely gotten way better over the years. I think I'm the best I've ever been at like recording. But Seal Pup is like really, it's pop music. A lot of people call it pop punk probably, but the themes are like just about. I just try to get to the emotional core of how I'm feeling, I guess, or just like stuff that I would talk about in therapy or something like that. Okay. Or stuff that I have talked about in therapy. It's like mostly the subject matter. But I don't try to make it purposely sad. There's a lot of positive songs, but a lot of sad stuff. I just try to get raw. I try to be really raw. Okay. I basically, when I'm writing lyrics, I try to make myself cry. Which is not really, I can't really,
is like literally the opposite of how you write jokes. You try to make yourself laugh.
Yeah, well, that's why I really started doing comedy in the first place, is because I kind of had writer's block and wanted to do something more light and kind of.
So have you mixed the two mediums and done any like comical songs or anything, or no?
I mean, not really. Like when I had my show last Wednesdays, sometimes I would make music to play at the show as like a bit, Yeah. Do like musical numbers and stuff like that. I've never really thought about like making a comedy music album, or I have like thought about it, considered it, but And maybe I will one day. I'm not against it. I like comedy and music together, you know.
Well, I may get another theme song for this show, so I'll definitely hit you up.
Cool.
I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard the one that Matt did, but it's hilarious.
Fucking brilliant. I love it.
It's so funny. But I thought
he's so good.
You know, this will be we're sort of rebooting all of this, so it's like, well, to keep that for a little while, but then I got to phase in a new one, you know.
Maybe I could do it
fresh.
Maybe I could do I could do a cover or like a take on that one with his permission.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Try that.
Well, originally I just sent him Patti LaBelle's New Attitude, and I was like, and I was like, just the word straight people over and over again. Yeah. But it sounds a little bit like this, and I feel like he pretty much nailed it.
Oh, for sure.
Because it definitely has there's that little keyboard thing that happens at the very end. I was like, it's just super funny.
It's catchy.
I spent a lot of time talking about the song on the podcast.
It's a great song.
So do you have any shows coming up? What's going on with you? Where
I have a couple. I have a couple shows. Well, when is this going to come out?
This will probably be coming out in the beginning of December.
Okay, so the shows that I have now will have already happened, but
okay,
I do have a show. It's all right. I'm playing a.
You missed it, but
I will have already. I've already played. I guess a Seal Pup show on the 19th at Waller's.
Okay,
and then I have this new band with Sam Severin called Small. It's like a punk band. It's really sweet. We're gonna play a lot of shows in the future for sure.
Okay,
but we're playing in Athens on next Wednesday.
Maybe give me some intro outro music from that, and I'll credit you guys on an episode or something.
Cool, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Okay, so cool. So what I'll do is I'll make sure that before this comes out, we'll get if you have anything going on in December.
Well,
how can people find you?
Yeah. Like, I think the easiest way to plug my stuff is just to say to look up Seal Pup on Spotify.
Yep.
And it's also on iTunes and all that other stuff.
Okay.
In Bandcamp, but I really want people to hear it. I put out this new album called I Bleed Pop earlier this year, a couple months ago. Got a really good response from it. A lot of people really were into it. And I got up to 95 Spotify listeners, and now it's down to 45 or something. So I got to get the numbers back up.
What happened?
I guess people just
were like,
I don't know.
This.
Yeah, after there's a buzz for it, but the people that are into it, it has a cult following.
So when you do Seal Pup, can you perform everything yourself live? How does that work?
Yeah, I record a bass track and a drum track that plays together, and I plug my guitar into the computer, and it has a amp sound on it, so everything comes out of my computer.
Okay.
I play the guitar, and there's a bass and drum track, and then I just sing.
Okay, nice.
Which sounds okay. I really want to have a band, but I don't have a band at the moment. I'm small, but I don't have a Seal Pup band at the moment.
Oh, cool.
But that's the ultimate goal.
You should hit up here are the comic musicians, Matt Petchny, Khaled Al-Chufi.
Yeah.
Will Foskey, I think a few of them, they all play something.
I've jammed with them.
Yeah.
Those guys are all awesome.
Yeah. Well, Matt, the songs that Matt makes right now, some of that stuff, it just cracks me up. It makes me laugh so fucking hard.
He's a silly man. He really fucking cracks me up.
He does. All right, so we're wrapping up here.
Okay.
Catch Seal Pup everywhere. Just look for Seal Pup, Spotify, find them on all social medias and whatnots.
Yeah.
And I'd like to end with this question. Sure. Straight people. If you have a culture, I'm unaware.
Okay.
But if you did, let's say that there was an identity of just straight people. What do straight people eat? What's a go-to straight person meal?
Grilled ham and cheese sandwich.
A grilled ham and cheese.
Let's see.
American cheese, white bread.
American cheese, white bread.
Store-bought ham.
Yeah.
Okay.
That just
any mayonnaise or
tons of mayonnaise. Yeah,
tons mayonnaise.
Yeah, tons of mayonnaise. Or I don't know, maybe just a little bit of mayonnaise. Yeah, I don't know. Cottage cheese. I guess I'm just when you say straight people, I'm just thinking of what's. I guess I'm associating with white people.
Exactly. I'm but straight people.
Yeah, straight people. Pussy.
They do. They eat pussy.
Yeah.
Some of the women don't.
Yeah.
Booty. I think the straight people eating the booty.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just got caught up.
Yeah, finally. Man, I can finally eat people's ass and not be called a fag.
Right? You can finally eat your girlfriend's ass, and she will not call you a fag anymore. We'll just end on that. We're going to end on that note. Ladies and gentlemen, my name's E. Neighbor, and this has been Straight People.